For our system, we have identified numerous requirements. There are various functional and non-functional requirements. Firstly, functional requirements include requirements such as that the system should have different types of accounts, interfaces, and users. So this would be for students, assessors, and admins. In addition, there are also other requirements related to the actual examination. For example, the system would be required to mark multiple choice questions automatically. The student would also need to be able to select the module for examination, and they would need to also be able to view grades and feedback. Moving on to the non-functional requirements. These are requirements that are not necessary, however, they make the system easier to use for all types of users. This includes students, assessors, and admins. For example, the system would need to be secure, robust, and reliable. And small features such as the system shall have a reminder of 10 minutes remaining during the examination. This will allow students to have a better track of time compared to if they were not set a reminder. In terms of reliability, this would include stuff like backup submission for the results, as well as for students to actually submit their answers and have a backup system for that as well, therefore overall making the system more robust. This is our use case diagram. Here you can see the actors and each actor's use case. We have added some changes to the system. Some of the changes that have been added include the system shall store all the data in the remote server for a backup, and that the system shall have a backup submission method available for anyone who cannot submit. In online examination system, various users like administrator, assessors, and student can work on. According to their requirements, different user cases are identified for different users. Here are some of the key user cases that will be discussed. Login use case. This is to allow for legal user to enter into the system. In addition, identified with ID user case. This will mean that every student will have a unique ID to recognize in the system. For any query needed to run, they would need to use the specific student ID. Another would be applying for extenuating circumstances. In addition, viewing students' grade, for example, by the assessor and providing feedback. In addition, view and assign marks to answers. This would be also used to ensure that the student who has submitted the exam gets marked by the assessor and is able to get a grade. In addition, setting length of examination. This use case will be carried out by administrator to assign specified time to every exam. Furthermore, amend any system errors. For example, if the system comes up with an error message, the admin will be required to take care of it and solve any issues. Here are a few examples of the risks we have come up with. Poor quality code, which has a likelihood of high and severity of high as well. Poor productivity, which has a likelihood of medium and severity of very high. Design lacks flexibility, which has medium and very high, as well as other risks such as technology components that aren't fit for security, requirements which are incomplete. Risks such as these would need to be solved by the group, writing down as many suitable requirements as possible and carefully listening to any client feedback. This would allow us to make changes to the requirements if necessary. Other risks include fluid spillage and hard drive corruption. This kind of risk would need to be solved by ensuring that there's no fluids around the workplace, as well as ensuring that there's backup of all of our work in the cloud storage. For our risk assessment, we analyze various different scenarios and assess them based on 4 different factors: the risk itself, the likelihood of the risk occurring, the severity if the risk was to occur, and finally the impact this risk would have on our project. After that, we have created preventative measures or mitigation actions in case the risk would occur.